Use a calculator to compute. Round the results to 2 decimal places. So we've got the calculator here, and notice with these problems that we're being asked to do here. Here we have an addition problem and we have a division problem. And here the numbers are big, but it's not like another example that we've looked at where things canceled out very nicely, where common denominators were already in place. These are big, ugly, messy fractions. And these are the kinds of fractions where we're glad that we have the use of a calculator to help us, because coming up with common denominators and working through common factors is going to be really difficult when our numbers start getting this large. So let's go ahead and use our calculator to help us with these, as the directions tell us we can do. So our first problem, we have 57 112ths. So we're going to be using our fraction key. We have 57. And then we're going to use the fraction key before we go to the denominator, 112ths. So 112. And to that we're going to add 68 over 145. So 68 145ths. Now when we press enter, notice that we added 2 fractional numbers, but our answer comes up with a decimal. There gets to be a point where our calculator just can't hold so many digits in the numerators and the denominators anymore. I'm not sure what the common denominator, the lowest common denominator for 112 and 145 would be, but it's going to be a really big number, and our calculator just can't hold on to that. So what it's going to do is it's going to default to give us the decimal answer. Now remember that the directions for these told us to round our results to 2 decimal places. And so for this problem here, if we take our result to 2 decimal places, so we're going to do 0 point, and let me pull my calculator back up here, we would have 98, because this second 7 tells us that the first 7 is going to have to round up to the 8th place. So 0.98 is going to be our solution for that one. Now in the second problem we have division, so we want to be sure that we enter that in correctly on our calculator. So our first fraction, 149 over 219, 149, fraction key, 219. We're going to divide that by 105 over 97. So here's 105, and again there's the fraction key between the numerator and the denominator, 97. And when we press enter, again, our calculator is not going to be able to give it back to us as a fraction because the fraction would be so big and messy, so it's just going to default to the decimal form. Now notice that the 0.628, if we're going to round that to the to 2 decimal places, the 2 is going to have to round up because it's followed by an 8. Remember, if the digit that follows the one we're rounding to is 5 or higher, we need to round up. So this is going to tell us that our final answer is going to be 0.63. So 0.63 is going to be our final answer. And notice we like to put these zeros in front of the decimal point, because if I just write 0.63, if I'm not looking really closely, it would be very easy to miss that decimal point. By putting the 0, that's like a little flag telling me I'm going to be having a decimal number as my answer.